Hello everybody. Um haven't been uploading in a while, but I'll try to get back into it. Need to make 54 before the year ends, so gotta start grinding. But today I'm gonna be talking about how feminine and masculine traits are both valuable to the same degree. They're not exclusive to each gender, but the dominant traits of both are very much so valuable, and to the same degree. I think as a society, most of the time you respect masculine traits more than feminine traits, and I think that is a big problem. And I don't agree with all waves of feminism or the movements, but I would call myself a feminist because that equality among genders is an important thing, and viewing traits of both genders positively in the same regard is not a thing in society, So yeah, I'm gonna get into it. So first, let's start with masculine traits, right? So like masculine traits like being protective, providing discipline, rational, being stoic, both essential and valuable. So as a person growing up, you need the type of figure in your life, a father figure or just any type of person. It's very important to have someone that demonstrates these masculine traits in your life in order to have those types of attributes and characteristics and values, both as a person and as especially in developmental stages. So you need that type of father figure, and that's what I think masculinity is good for, right? People a lot of times talk about toxic masculinity, but I do think there's positive parts of masculinity, or just gender roles or gender norms per se in general. So like being protective, having someone there to keep you, like have that safety, that protection, that security is an important trait, along with being being an authoritative figure, right? Giving some sort of discipline in your life where you can be pushed back when you're doing something wrong and disciplined accordingly, along with providing for your family, or providing in a more like hunter-gatherer type way where you're going out and you're really working for your family. I don't think that's necessarily masculine nowadays, especially because most incomes are two income households. But I think in a state where the woman is pregnant, the man has to naturally take over that providing characteristic because they're in a vulnerable state. When women are pregnant, labored with the baby, you need that provider in your family, someone or in a family unit, or just in general, to provide, to give you security. I think that's like the main function of men, especially in like the Bible or just religiously. But I think it is a very admirable trait, and I think people admire it. They admire providing for the family, being protected, being disciplined, being rational in their thought, thinking things through, assessing all characteristics. Now, this is definitely not just like a male thing to do or a masculine thing, but I think predominantly in a family unit, that's what the man is for, And as a society, I think we do hold to these being valuable and essential, very much so essential. You can see how being in a single parent household is bad for the kid, especially in the developmental stages. You do need that type of structure and discipline that most of the time a man has normatively, these traits. And they also are what gives you respect in the modern context. Now, this is a problem, though. I think a lot of the times women have to get these masculine traits or appear more masculine in order to have respect in the household or in the workplace. And I think that is a negative thing overall, because you're disvaluing someone that's more feminine, and pushing them to become more masculine, even if that's not part of what they would want. Now into feminine traits like being nurturing, having patience, being empathetic, docile, collaborative, intuitive, receptive, and compassionate. These are all valuable, and to the same extent. Now, I don't think as a society or even on a personal basis, you would look at these traits and see them as the same amount of value as a man's traits or a traditionally masculine traits. Now, this is a problem because it's like patriarchal in nature, the way that you're thinking. And I do like this way of feminism where they're trying to, I feel like before they were trying to make women more masculine and kind of saying we don't need a man, but I don't think that's the case, right? I think you need a family. In that family unit is a man and woman, right? And inside of that family, you need both masculine and feminine traits, and they're both as crucial as the other. If you're lacking one, then you're going to be in a state of desperation or just lacking in that area. Especially like the nurturing and compassionate side, where you're, being empathetic or thinking people through or bringing together the emotions of the person beside you. Men don't really know how to do that most of the time, and naturally women are better at these type of traits. Now, both these traits are not exclusionary to men or women, but on a normative basis, if you were to look at men and women as a whole, I would say that they are true. And you need these type of people and these type of traits to be of the people in your life in order to both have that type of completeness in your upbringing, and even as a family, as you have a family, if you were to have a family, if you were to have a child, you need this type of environment in order to raise a kid. And I think it extends further from the family unit, even that. Like, I think politicians and law officers, just in general, it is important to have both sides of the spectrum when it comes to gender traits, because without it, you're going to be lacking these areas that are needing to be taken into account. Okay. Now, I think the problem with this is that when you look at a feminine person that is nurturing and patient, empathetic, docile, collaborative, intuitive, receptive, compassionate, you're not going to value them to the same extent. You're not going to see them as an authoritative figure, or you won't even respect them as much because they don't observe as many masculine traits. This is like a very bad viewpoint to have, because of this, you're going to be pushing people that are naturally feminine to become more masculine. And not only that, you're going to be not respecting and not taking into account the value in these feminine traits. Now, how might, together, I think both femininity and masculinity, they work together as a partnership. I think that's what God meant when he's making the family unit. He's talking about the man and the woman should be united as one. United as one doesn't mean you have one person taking all the priority and importance, but you're valuing both to the same extent. Both the man and the woman, and the traits that they observe traditionally should be valued to the same extent. They shouldn't have the man coming home and being like, oh, I work, I do all this, and then him just saying, oh, I deserve more respect than you, the woman, when you do the same thing in a different way. You provide the same amount of value in a different way in a traditional family unit, let's say. Now, femininity, or just feminism, giving that option to women is good, but I think when you're looking at it now, the push towards respecting feminine traits is very important. Respecting, not just saying, oh, we don't need a man, but like, oh no, we are just as valuable as men in our feminine nature. And to be honest, I didn't really know much about feminism in like the whole regard to it, besides like equal rights. I thought like, oh, it's pointless outside of that, but no, it's like rethinking, reshaping your mind into valuing both to the same extent, because people don't, right? People value a man's like job and his ability to provide and his protector nature, but they don't value a woman. They think it's like just something given. Like it's a given. It's nothing that it just should be extraordinarily valuable, but it is. It truly is. And that, especially in the workplace, is undervalued. So that people who are more feminine, they're going to be disrespected. They're not going to have the same level of respect. People are going to look at them and say, oh, they're just a woman. They just this feminine woman that is, focused on their appearance, all that, and they're more empathetic and nurturing and compassionate, but they're not like an authoritative figure. But why did you have to be an authoritative figure to have the same value? I think either way, no matter if you observe more feminine or masculine traits, you should have that same level of respect, and you should be respected for the extent in which you hold to those traits, to the extent of which you structure your life or build your life, your lifestyle around these traits. Like a woman taking care of the kids, just as valuable as the man going out to work. And it should be viewed together as one, as a whole. Besides saying, oh, we don't need anyone else, just myself. I think that thinking, that hyper individualist thinking of thinking only for the self, or even as a man or a woman, only valuing the certain traits without taking into account the other side of the spectrum and the value that they have, is very damaging. Very much so. In the societal context. Now, my goal in which this video is to first research more about it. I'm not the most knowledgeable about feminism, but I think when you're viewing, it's not just about people being equal under the law, but it's about viewing them equally as well. And I think that is the main feature. Sure, like even when you go into like other topics of inequality, like racism, people, maybe they're equal under law, but the way that they view each other, the way that they view other races, they're kind of brainwashed into it. It's kind of societally structured towards men being more valuable than women, like in their traits of being a provider, but the caretaker and the nurturing and the compassionate one is viewed as lesser. That should not be the case. Now, what I want you all to do is I need y'all to rearrange your mind, really be conscious of the fact of how you're observing each trait, and focus on how both sides are just as valuable as each other. And I think the majority of the time that's going to be you looking at feminine traits and viewing them with more respect and value. Now, that is the main goal with this video. Just respect more feminine traits to the same extent as masculine traits. And don't let people in your life, or be cautious of people in your life that disrespect people who have feminine traits because of they don't have these masculine traits inside of them. They deserve the same respect. You should hear them out, and you shouldn't push over them or try to like put them in a lesser position, view them as lesser because they are more feminine. View both the same equally and equally as valuable. Just like the family unit should not be viewed as one person, but it's two people participating in a team. It's like a goalie and a player. You're never gonna expect the goalie to save, like get goals. You're expecting to save, save the shots, right? I think that's kind of what women are. Like, you always see a goalie, they just hate on them, right? They're like, oh, a goalie is just supposed to save the ball, right? Save whatever, save the shot. The player is gonna get all the glory, but in the end, they're both fulfilling their roles. If they were to both fulfill the roles, you should value them to the same extent. And yeah, that's how you should view femininity and masculinity. They're both valuable to the same extent, and they are both, especially when it comes to feminine traits, rearrange your mind into thinking and viewing them as very valuable, just as you view masculine traits as valuable. in order to respect people who are not traditionally masculine, and instead women that are traditionally feminine. You shouldn't wait for them to become more masculine and then you start respecting them, but respect them in their femininity. Simple as that. Well, that's my video for today. I'm gonna keep it shorter, try to get shorter videos out, and yeah, I hope you all have a good day or rest of your night.